So we'll start with Rev. We'll start with Rev's video since he just put this out. This is hot off the presses, strays. Hot off the presses like 18 minutes ago. So let's hit the ground running on this one with this fresh news about Mastercard, which I imagine part of we already know. Part of it is undoubtedly going to be the tweet that I showed you guys on stream not long ago. So let's take a look.
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So over the past couple of days, we've been talking about payment processors and their attempts to censor various video games that have been deemed problematic by various groups like Collective Shout. And today we're going to be talking about Mastercard in particular, who is finding out right now. They have made an official public statement about what's going on and their role in the ban.
Okay, side tangent. Can we just appreciate for a moment? Can we appreciate the stupidity that is Mastercard's slogan on their Twitter account? Fueling the moments that live rent-free. Unless you like NSFW content, in which case you can't even buy it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's, I'm just saying here.
Banning of thousands of video games, and guess what they're doing? They're gaslighting gamers and lying, and they've been caught in 4K, and that's exactly what we're going to be looking at today. Now, before we get into everything, another reminder, I'll keep saying it because YouTube is forcing this upon us. They don't want to count views, even if you watch a video in the entirety. They only count engaged viewers. So if you want to count and help this video get into the algorithm and spread the message around, make sure to like, comment, or subscribe to be an engaged viewer and count in the eyes of YouTube.
And alas, I really fucking hate having to say this, but yes, if you're watching a content creator on YouTube, at the very least, just click the like button. So at least it counts as engagement. If you watch the video and you've enjoyed it, you don't have to subscribe. You don't even have to comment. At least click the like button so there's some kind of an engagement. Not simply because it will make anyone money. For me, it makes me no money. I don't monetize, but it lets content creators know. It gives them an idea of how many people are watching. This is completely sideways from this entire topic of this video, but it's just something I feel like I gotta mention. Yes, thank you, Jack. And quite frankly, thank you for the follow. It's something that I feel like I just have to mention is, being able to chart views as a content creator lets content creators like me and Rev and everyone else know if people are enjoying what you are putting out. It gives us a metric of, are people enjoying the content we put out, or do we need to look at maybe changing things up? And because YouTube has decided to fuck with the view counts, just simply watching doesn't tell us anymore. So please engage and at the very least like the video, just so there's that engagement click and we can get and content creators can at least get a metric if you're actually enjoying the content, because we don't know anymore. We don't know simply by your views if you enjoy it anymore, because views don't count in YouTube's eyes anymore. So, side tangent, back to the video. Oopsie. How bad.
It definitely makes a difference, so I appreciate that, guys. Keep that up. But anyways, over the past couple of days, there's been a lot of backlash, and rightfully so. We've seen payment processors like Visa and Mastercard get overwhelmed. Their customer complaint lines, they're getting blasted by a lot of people who are very upset about what's going on. Thousands of games banned because groups like Collective Shout have put pressure on these.
And again, I will point out that GOG for 2 days is offering 12 free NSFW games. Free. From GOG alone, you are getting 12 free games, including Honey Bunny, Postal, DIK. You can get them for free from GOG for the next 2 days. You just search for their post on Twitter, or it's like free the game. What was it? Free the games, I think it was. Or Honey Pop. Thank you, Skinny. Sorry, I got that wrong. Honey Pop. Yeah. GOG is giving it away for free for 2 days, and they have made a public statement that we love loot games and we're not going to let censorship stop us from putting out legally acceptable lewd games. As long as they are legal games and they don't involve like CP, as long as they don't involve like child porn or pedophilia or something, as long as the games are legal, NSFW, they are not going to stop. And to prove that, they're offering get 12 of these games for free for the next 2 days. So if you're interested, pop on over to GOG and you can get your free stuff.
Payment processors who are very eager to agree with their demands, and they've banned thousands of games as a result, and people are upset, and they're voicing their concerns, and, well, it's making a difference. It's making them very nervous, and guess what? We got to keep it up. Now, of course, one of the targets is Visa. When it comes to payment processors, it's Visa and Mastercard. That's pretty much it, right? If you lose either of these two or both, your platform or your service is in big trouble. Visa's been feeling the pressure. That is definitely for sure. Okay, and they're showing it. Okay, so we have some testimonies from people who are claiming they've had a very bizarre experience with Visa in particular. So let's read this one right here. This person says, Visa card representative yelled at me.
You saw this yesterday.
I called this number and simply asked about the content guideline.
Pat the Cool Cat, GOG is, oh God, oh God, my head just went blank on what it stands for. GOG is a good old games. Thank you, Leo. It went right out of my head. I totally forgot what it was. Yes, GOG's is good. It stands for good old games.
I got, in quotes, we've been getting thousands of calls. You talk to someone, who'd you call? Other people accepted what I said, so why don't you? Here's another crop of examples. This person saying, call Visa, ask about censorship. You need to email us. So can I get a generic email? I like to speak with your manager. Please wait. Picks up.
Actually, I think Rev kind of, I think the way conversation was, ask about censorship. You need to email us so I can get a generic email, as in receive a generic email back. I think that's the context there. It's like, you need to email us. Why? So I can just get a generic email back from you. So that's the context.
Please wait. Picks up. I'm about to transfer you. Okay, yes. You need to go and make an email. Hangs up. Here's another example. I called Visa's customer support service. The guy on the other line was like, are you also calling about the video game payment processing? Please send us emails instead. And they say, keep up the calls, folks. We're definitely gumming up their works. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's why. Because I guarantee, because the emails they can just let pile up and they will start deleting them en masse. Whereas if you make the phone calls to the call center, that's real people that you're talking to. And that's taking them away from actually doing their business with real customers. And real customers, customers that actually have problems are going to be stuck on hold for an hour waiting to actually talk to someone. And then when they finally get to talk to a customer service rep, they're going to be pissed. And they may very well, you know what, fuck it, cancel my card. So yeah, it's definitely, this is why the calls work. It actually costs them money. An email will do nothing. An email, because I guarantee you that if you send an email, Visa has an AI looking for specific trigger words that don't denotate it as a protest email. And so that AI is going to grab that email and and automatically throw a form letter email right back at you, a bullshit like we're sorry email back at them, and then your email gets deleted. Calling in, you actually talk to a person, and you're actually taking up their time. It's basically, how many of you guys have seen the channels like Scam Baiter and what was that? What's that other one with Pierogi? I forget what the name of his channels, but Ed Kitboda, the ones that like will keep a scammer on the phone for like hours, just fucking with them. Particularly Kitboda is like really big about this, where he will keep the scammer on the phone for scammer payback. That's what I'm thinking of.
Is it possible that if we continue to call, they'll just transition to robocalls to avoid the complaints?
Revan, there's a very easy workaround to that. If you call them and they transition to robocalls, you just say, no, I actually have a problem. Or you hit 0. Because I'm reasonably sure, especially because it's a payment processing system, you have to be able to talk to a person. They can't just robocall the entire thing without you being able to talk to a person, because there are finances involved. So there will always be a workaround to actually be able to talk to a person. Well, Jim Browning doesn't actually keep the scammers on the phones for hours or even days on end. Jim Browning primarily monitors, but Scammer Payback and Kitboda will actually keep the scammers on the phone for hours or days, fucking with them, and thus wasting their time so they're not calling other victims and scamming them out of money. So by keeping them on the phone for hours, they're costing them like tens of thousands of dollars. It's basically the same principle here with Visa. You're flooding the calls are flooding their call centers that are forcing their workers to engage in these calls, which is taking time away from their customers, which is losing them money. And don't forget that these calls, there was word that Visa actually incurs a fee for every call they receive. And like through I guess the service to receive phone calls to the customer service, every time a call is connected to Visa customer support, they are incurring a fee. It is a tiny fee, to be sure, but when they're getting flooded with calls, that's going to add up. So you're costing them time, and you're actually costing them money by doing this.
Exactly. And here's one more, saying, I wish this was a joke, but I got called an R word today. An R word.
We heard about
today
this.
By a Visa rep. Think I just happened to be a call that pushed the woman over. Lodged 2 formal complaints after that, and spun circles on the 2 calls, and was about 25 minutes. And couldn't get a supervisor either. They just hung up the phone.
Big shot.
Yeah, the thing is, I believe entirely what they're saying, because they're getting flooded. And I don't think the customer support here was ready for this. And imagine getting called an R-worder over the phone by a Visa representative.
Yeah, and I'm guessing Rev probably will bring this one up too, is you call up about this, and you call up to complain about this, and someone from Visa says, I bet you bought it illegally, didn't you? And actually outright accuses you of illegal activity.
I believe.
Yeah, Tori, that's an excellent point. That is an excellent point. And I did bring this up during Hero Hayes' video 2 days ago. When we watched Hero Hayes' video on this 2 days ago. When you call, two points of note when you call these services. Number 1, be polite. Number 1, when you call these services, be polite. Be firm, but be polite. Do not act like an asshole when you talk to these customer service reps. Be polite, but be firm in what you are trying to address. That is number 1. Number 2, do not lie. Do not call up and say, I'm a victim of credit card fraud. Do not call up and say, hey, my credit card got stolen. I need a replacement. Or the example that was given in the other video was like, say like, oh, my dog got my credit card and ran out of the house with it, and now I think some bum has got it and is making fraudulent transactions. Do not do that. Don't lie. Don't try to claim that your credit card is being used fraudulently. Do not do anything like that for two very specific reasons. Number one, claiming you are a victim of fraud is illegal to do. You could actually be arrested for filing false report, because when you claim fraud to a credit card company, when you're saying I am being defrauded or somebody took my credit card and there are fraudulent charges on my credit card, the credit card companies will initiate an investigation. And if that investigation comes up that you lied, you could potentially be arrested for a false report, because credit card companies will work with police on this one. That's number one. Number two, by lying to the credit card companies, you immediately become disingenuous and you actually hurt this cause to stop the credit card company, to hurt the very cause that that gamers are trying to affect of Visa and Mastercard need to fuck off with trying to stop gamers from being able to play games that they want to play. By lying, you have basically made yourself disingenuous, and thus Visa and or Mastercard can play victim card, saying we've got, they're claiming to protest, but they're actually calling up and lying about what has happened, and they're being false about it, and so we're actually the victims here. If you want to participate in this protest, because that's what it is to protest, is when you call them, you be polite, you be firm, and you tell them, I'm calling about the decision Visa made to force game developers like Steam and itch to not sell perfectly legal games because they are adult content games. That's it. That's all you have to do. So don't lie and don't claim fraud when there is none, because it is antithetical to what is trying to be accomplished.
That I do. But anyways, who's really the main force?
Oh, here we go.
I hate to say it, it's Collective Shout. Now, if you've watched my videos over the past week or so, you know who this group is. But for the...
Okay, I need to preface this. Sorry, Rev. I need to preface this. Yes, Collective Shout is involved. Yes, Collective Shout sent 1,000 emails to Visa and Mastercard saying, we don't like these games. You should not allow these games to be sold. And you, as the payment processor, should do something about it. Yes, Collective Shout did that. If you think that companies as powerful as Visa and Mastercard give a flying fuck what Collective Shout thinks, I'm sorry, you need to get yourself checked. What Collective Shout did is they basically offered themselves up on the altar of sacrifice for Visa and Mastercard to exercise their own overreach that aligns with their morals, i.e. they don't like adult game content for whatever reason, and so they're going to try and force the game companies not to sell them. And Collective Shout basically was a very convenient shield. They were what's the word I'm looking for? I had the word before and now I've lost it. But it's Collective Shout is basically Visa and Mastercard straw man. Is they're gonna try and claim we did this because this activist group came to us and said, oh, this is bad, and we thought it best to basically do to follow their lead. But Visa and Mastercard don't give a fuck about Collective Shout. Scapegoat could be. There was another phrase that I had in my head. I had a couple days ago, and it has gone right the fuck out of my head. I hate when this happens. But but yeah, they don't care about Collective Shout. But Collective Shout was a convenience for them to facilitate exercising this power and dominance over the gaming industry. So they are nothing more than a convenience, and that's it. Collective Shout does not have the power and authority to make Visa and Mastercard do shit. They just see, it was just like the stars aligned, and Collective Shout sent these emails at just the right time when Visa and Mastercard decided, you know what, we don't like these adult games. We really want to get rid of them. And then Collective Shouts are sending emails. They go, okay, cool. We can use them to as the reason why we're doing it, and then we can be blameless, right? So that's something that I need to point out every time there's talk about Collective Shout. Collective Shout is not a good group by any stretch. This is not a defense of Collective Shout. Collective Shout are a bunch of dumbass fucking Karens who need to shut the fuck up and mind their business and stop sticking their ass into everyone else's business. So bearing in mind, I fucking hate Collective Shout, and this is not a defense of them in any way, shape, or form, but they do not have the power over Visa that they're trying to profess that they do.
Those who are new, this is a small group of feminists in Australia who have lodged a huge campaign to censor video games and media in general. And they've been ignored for years because they're a bunch of wackadoos trying to push their agenda. But they've been successful recently. Why is that? Well, they got a new strategy, and a winning one, by all admission. They have targeted payment processors. They even admit this in one of their recent statements, where they've been ignored by platforms like Steam for years. But when they approach the payment processors like Visa and Mastercard, things changed. And now they're claiming responsibility.
John, Collective Shout doesn't even know what the fuck a man and a woman is. Okay? Madam Savvy, very much a woman, did a whole fucking story on Collective Shout, and Collective Shout kept referring to Madam Savvy as a man. Okay? I don't even think they know what a man is, considering they are calling a woman, not a trans woman, mind you, and a biological woman who's very comfortable being a woman, and continually referred to her as a man in correspondences. Like when they were bitching about it. Yeah, they are like Collective Shout. Let's not fuck with it. Collective Shout is a collective misandrist. Okay, that's what they are. They are misandrists. They fucking hate men, and they are hiding behind the shield of religion because, again, as we saw in the Madam Savvy video, Collective Shout loves to profess how they are a Christian group. It's either Christian or Catholic, I forget which, but they are also using their religion as a fucking shield for their activism. So they claim to be feminists, they are 100% misandrists, and they're hiding behind the shield of religion by going after people.
For thousands of games being banned or restricted. Okay, this is very important because this group is saying our targeting of the payment processors is what made results happen. And then we're going to see Mastercard in just a second say that never happened. But anyways, another development here is that Elon Musk has shared several petitions to ban certain movements like this. In particular, with Collective Shout, they're trying to share petitions that will silence and try to get rid of groups like Collective Shout and try to stop them from banning thousands of games and having a control over payment processors.
We certainly need something bigger than a clue by 4 to deal with Collective Screech.
Yes, we do. We need a colossal-sized muzzle. Somebody should teach them. Somebody needs to introduce Collective Shout to the gloriousness of cake. Particularly the fucking ball gag. They can be a lot of fun when used correctly.
Right? And apparently Elon Musk sharing messages like this has put Collective Shout in danger. They have released a new statement basically saying that Elon Musk in his actions have put them at risk. Yes, Elon Musk reposting a petition has put their lives in danger, and something should be done about it, according to them. What that thing is?
Yeah, Elon Musk reposting a tweet about a chainshot petition is putting them in danger. In the meantime, they're bullying small businesses because of funny and cute little slogans and forcing these small businesses that don't have the backing like the gaming company do with the gamers to tell Collective Shout, fuck off. Because I will remind you that Collective Shout forced a small local bakery that had a cute little slogan on the t-shirts of their employees that said the best buns in town, which is a cute, funny little slogan that works because it's a fucking bakery. And Collective Shout got their collective panties in a wad and said, oh, this cannot go. You are sexualizing women. And they actually forced this local bakery to get rid of their slogan. Because they were too busy parent clutching and being fucking misandrists. Because they assumed that the female employees were offended with these shirts. When I will bet you dimes to donuts, that Collective Shout did not talk to one female employee and ask them, does this slogan offend you? I will bet you anything. They didn't say one fucking word to a single employee and just assumed that this was offensive to the female employees. And we all know what assuming does, doesn't it?
I don't know. Nobody knows. But something has to happen apparently, according to Collective Shout. But now we go to Mastercard. So
here we go.
Visa.
Oh, and by the way, Collective Cunts. Yeah, they're still their Twitter profile is still privated. They're still hiding behind the private shield on Twitter. So they're trying to talk a bit. They love talk about like, oh, we're so righteous, but Collective Cunts are hiding. Just as a reminder.
They're getting flooded with complaints, and so is Mastercard. And Mastercard is feeling the heat. But in a cowardly way, they responded. Instead of posting this on their main account, they did it on their alternate account, the Mastercard News account, which, by the way, has a gold check mark, meaning they're paying at least $1,000 a month to have that little badge next to their name. So this is definitely an official account. They have released a statement clarifying recent headlines on gaming content. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
We saw this.
Your complaints about this have actually shook Mastercard to the point where they felt they had to make some kind of a...
Rounder, to your point, the second their account isn't private, they're going to get spammed. They did. Collective Cunts actually took their account off private, and several days ago, and the instant they did, they were instantaneously dogpiled. So hard and so fast, I'd say within an hour, it was privated again. So yeah, that account's not coming off of private anymore. It's not.
Actually shook Mastercard to the point where they felt they had to make some kind of a public statement directly towards gamers. Okay, so they say this. Mastercard has not evaluated any game or required restrictions of any activity on game creator sites and platforms, contrary to media reports and allegations.
Nice. Fucking lies. But we'll get there.
Our payment network follows standards based on the rule of law.
Lie.
Keep that one in mind, okay? Keep that sentence about their standards in mind. We'll look at that in just a second. But anyways, it continues on saying, put simply, we allow all lawful purchases on our network. At the same time, we require merchants to have appropriate controls to ensure Mastercard cards cannot be used for unlawful purchases, including illegal adult content.
As a quick reminder, before we continue on, all of the adult content that was on Steam and Itch, that was forced to be removed because of the payment processors, and all of the horror game content that was forced to be removed because of the payment processors, those were all legal. There was nothing illegal about any of it.
Mastercard, you said you don't require restrictions on any activity on game sites. The lie detector said, fucking bullshit.
Oh, God, I wish Maury would have done that on his actual show when it was still alive. Oh, that would have been great to hear Maury say that when reading the lie detector results. Oh, Reaper? That TTS, that's a Tangia. There's Tangias in the about section below the video. That's how you can use that kind of TTS.
Including illegal adult content. Now, as you might have guessed, this statement has blown up in their face. They got hit with a community note that says both Steam and Itch have stated their removal of adult content came from pressure by payment processors, including Mastercard.
Yep. And there it is. Steam and Itch both made public statements saying that because of the payment processors, they had to remove these games. Public statements that anybody can fucking see. They said it. Why you always lying?
Furthermore, Mastercard and other payment processors have a documented history of refusing service to Japanese retailers over legal adult content. And that's something I have taught.
And, pardon me, oh my God. And, leave us not forget, I'm pretty sure it was Mastercard on this one and not Visa, actually caused an entire business to shut its doors, namely the otaku dating website, because it offended the payment processors' delicate sensibilities to the degree that they had to retreat to their fainting couch. And they shut down the otaku dating website, a dating website for otakus. They said, no, this is inappropriate. We cannot allow our company to be associated with this smut. And they retracted their payment processing, and that whole website had to shut down.
Talked about ad nauseum on this channel for years. Okay, I don't want to be the guy who sits here and says, yeah, I told you so. But for years, I pointed out what's been going on in Japan with Visa and Mastercard. There have been groups who have put pressure on these payment processors to remove their services from certain platforms and services that offer adult content. Legal adult content.
Yes.
But these people remove their services anyways because...
As I have pointed out, it's happened outside of Japan too. It's happened in the US. It's happened with Patreon. It's happened with Pixiv. And it's happened with DeviantArt. The DeviantArt one is a suspicion. I don't have evidence of that, but it is a suspicion because suddenly out of nowhere, DeviantArt said you can no longer post significantly lewd content on their site. They didn't say it was due to payment processors, but it fits the fucking pattern. Patreon and Pixiv did say that we will no longer be allowed to accept significant adult content. Again, I don't know if they actually specifically said due to the payment processors, but the fucking pattern fits. I did say Patreon, Ryan. I said Patreon and Pixiv. The pattern fucking fits. So it's not just Japan where they've been putting their foot on the necks of businesses. They're doing it in the US too. But because these are not overly well known or utilized services, i.e. DeviantArt, Pixiv, and Patreon, because it's not overly used, it flew under the radar. But since they decided to go after a highly known company like Steam, well, then they just put themselves on the front page. And now everybody fucking knows. Klein, We don't have an answer why. The claim is like, oh, the claim is the same claim it's always been for fucking decades. It's for the children. We have to save the children when they don't actually give a fuck about the children. As to why are they doing it, my guess is you have a bunch of dumbass fucking Puritans in CEO positions of Visa and Mastercard and in the upper echelons that basically are going, ew, that horrible smut. It must be stopped immediately. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. And then they're using these small activist groups that actually write them significantly enough that they can go, oh, cool, human meat shields. Here's the people you want to find fault with. Yes. Like, I'm guessing on this, it's the only explanation that makes fucking sense. Is that the people in the upper ranks of Visa and MasterCard are a bunch of tight asswads that haven't had sex in decades, and either their dick is a limp little fucking worm, or their pussy is as dry as the fucking Sahara, and since they're not getting any, they don't want anyone else to get horny. That's the only explanation I can come up with.
They found that sort of content problematic. And here's the thing. Despite what they're saying in the statement, it goes along with their rules. Because they have made rules that allow them to basically pull their services at any time, no matter what the content is featured on those services and platforms, as we'll see in just a second. But, of course, they're getting blasted, okay? As you can see, 1.6K likes versus 2.8K comments, and a lot of quotes dunking on them.
Yeah.
They are very, very hypocritical. Now let's jump into their claims about how they're not doing this. They're basically gaslighting you and saying,
Red-headed snake, I will slightly disagree. I don't necessarily think they need to be broken up and in terms of monopolies. I think that governmental laws need to dictate that you are a service, that you are a utility, and to strip away the power that they have. That is what I think needs to happen, is that they need to be locked down by government law, by legislation from government, saying you are a utility company. You have no power to deny any business payment processing services, with the notable exception of if there is actual, tangible, illegal activity. That is the only time when you will have any authority to say, no, we are not going to facilitate payment processing for you. If said company is participating in illegal activity. If they are not, you don't get to say a fucking word about what they're selling. Because at this point, Visa and MasterCard need to be classified as utilities. They are the ones facilitating financial payment processing throughout the entire world. They are the number 1 and 2 payment processors of the fucking world. The entire world is running on their payment processing systems. So at this point, they are a utility. They need to be classified as such, and all of their power to do anything outside of something that is actually illegal, tangibly illegal, needs to go the fuck away. And again, I know that the U.S. has a bill in the House that they're slowly fucking working on. No, and that's why I said tangible illegality. Tangible. And the payment processors don't get to decide what is legal and illegal. It is based upon the laws of the country, so the credit card companies don't get to say what's legal or illegal. That's up to the localized law enforcement or government to do. The payment processors don't get to say fucking anything. And there is a bill in the House that's slowly working its way through, and we know how much time that's going to take. And that's why you got to keep on your respective senators and representatives to get that bill through, get it signed, make sure there's no bullshit fucking pork in it, and get that on the fucking books. And anonymous gifter, thank you for the tier 3 to Cotton. Thank you very much.
We don't do this. We're not removing games for no reason. We're not doing this. Well, look around. Collective Shout has specifically mentioned their attempts to put pressure on Visa, Mastercard, and PayPal to get games removed. And they have cited this as the reason they were successful in multiple public statements over the past couple of weeks. See here, this was their main attempt a couple of weeks ago on July.
Street, you may be thinking of a different legislation. The one that they're trying to bring up for vote again might be the one requiring ID to access adult content. I don't know if there's been any movement for the Visa and MasterCard bill, the payment processor bill. I have not heard about any movement as of late regarding that. The only thing I've heard lately is the Screen Act, which is the legislation to require people in the U.S. basically it's an ID system for adult content like what is in the U.K. and what is in Australia. That's the only one that I've heard that's actually been moving through the legislation lately.
July 11th, they made a new campaign where they targeted and contacted all of these payment processors. By their own admission, they sent thousands of emails to these various platforms, and guess what? It worked. It worked very clearly, to the point where platforms like Steam,
Well, it personally worked. Because don't know if it worked on Discover. Don't know if it worked on PaySafe. I damn sure don't think it worked on the Japan Credit Bureau, considering the Japan Credit Bureau bitch slapped the fuck out of Collective Shout and the payment processors. So it worked to a limited degree of at least these top three. I'm not so sure it worked on these bottom three. And it especially did not work on this one. Because Japan has basically said, go fuck yourself. We're going to slap you with sanctions because of what you did.
It worked very clearly, to the point where platforms like Steam, who many think are high and mighty and devoid of any pressure from outside sources, no. They added a rule recently saying content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam's payment.
Did he? But then he deleted it, which means he got a fuck ton of pushback and went, oh, okay, maybe that's not a good idea. And so if the JCB's president sent a tweet and then deleted it, probably because he got a fuck ton of pushback from the Japanese people, that's a good thing. Because that means that they're listening to the people. They're listening to what the people want.
Saying content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam's payment processors and related card networks and banks or internet network providers, in particular, certain kinds of adult-only content. They literally added a rule that says you can't upset the rules and the beliefs or the foundations or whatever of our payment processors like Visa and Mastercard. On top of that, we've seen major news networks like The Guardian covering this. And you know what? I crap on journalists all the time. I get it. I'm very critical of journalists, especially the mainstream media. But good on The Guardian. Good on a lot of games journalism networks who've actually spoke up about this pretty much since the jump.
Yeah. And we're seeing kernels of positivity from journalists with this particular issue. And, particularly from the UK, we're seeing these small nuggets of positivity where we have the one journalist that called out that parliamentarian on camera and said, this ain't about children. And this is a paraphrase. But when the journalist called it the parliamentarian and said, this isn't actually about children, isn't it? And she pushed him, and he finally admitted, no, it's about adults too. Got him to admit that on camera. There was a BBC report I saw on Twitter today that was actually saying that the UK government is actually censoring and hiding news reports about real events. In particular, they were specifying reports about Ukraine. The UK government is preventing its citizenry from seeing news about what is occurring in Ukraine. Like in specific, there was one video of, it was like a father that his like home or town was subject to a bomb attack by Russia, and he had taken a video of him searching for his family or their bodies in the rubble, and there was no bodies. Okay, bearing in mind the video in question did not have any bodies, it did not have any blood, any gore, nothing like that. All it showed was rubble, and the British government decided to say this has sensitive material and should not be viewed by children. And all it was a guy just panning around and looking at rubble. And the BBC actually called this out and said the UK government is preventing its citizenry from seeing stuff like this and censoring content involving, world events such as what is occurring in Ukraine. So we're starting to see small nuggets, small kernels of goodness, of positivity coming out of the media in response to this absolutely dystopian censorship that is starting to take place.
Good on them. Because at the end of the day, we need all the help we can get. If
Yeah,
people
Klein,
like the
you heard
Guardian
that from HLC that we
wanna
watched
actually
last
cover
night.
this in a responsible way and share the message, good on them. And I welcome it. Because right now, this is a...
Just remember, loves, if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. Now where's me rum gone?
Okay, slightly separate issue there, Leo, but always prescient.
serious threat to free speech, freedom of expression, and your rights as a consumer. They are trying everything in their power to take away what you're allowed to spend your money on.
How long have I been saying this, chat? How long have I been uttering the siren warning about exactly that? I've been saying this for what? Weeks now. I've been saying exactly what Rev just said for probably the last 2 fucking weeks. They want to control what you can and cannot buy. I've been trying to get the word on. Unfortunately, my voice is small. My voice is small. I have a very minimal reach. Rev thankfully has a louder voice than I do, and hopefully his voice can reach more people than mine can. I'm just glad that a louder voice is saying this.
They're trying to dictate what's right or wrong and what you're allowed to spend your money on. That should offend you to your core. It really should. It's really frustrating. Like, I'm not trying to morally grandstand here. I'm not trying to get up on a soapbox, but all this is crazy. This has gone way too far, and it's been ramping up for years. But over the past couple of days and weeks, it's exploded. This has gone so far, so fast, and so widespread across the world, it should concern you deeply. Yeah. But of course, we see some comments from people like Asmongold saying, so all these websites are lying. Collective Shout is lying. Japan is lying. Steam is lying. And actually, the payment processors are doing nothing wrong. What a bunch of BS. The only truth in this is that it's not only Visa/Mastercard, but also PayPal too.
True.
And I can tell you horror stories from other content creators who have lost their PayPal accounts overnight because they did something that is problematic. And PayPal says, well, I don't like what you're doing, so yoink. And by the way, they don't just shut down your account when that happens too. They take your money as well.
Yes.
Again, I've seen horror stories.
I've heard about similar horror stories that people who have had money in their PayPal accounts, when the account gets shut down, that money's gone. It could be thousands of dollars. And if there's any money in there, and PayPal shuts you down, it's all gone. Bye-bye. Yeah. This is why Leo's saying I don't keep money in PayPal. I primarily use it as a money transfer. That's why when obviously my Twitch revenue goes through PayPal to the bank. And that's why as soon as I get the notification that I've received my Twitch revenue from PayPal, immediately I'm walking into the PayPal and transferring it out right to the bank. No delay, because I don't want any money sitting in PayPal at all.
With thousands upon thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in their PayPal account, poof.
Yep.
Because they made something that is problematic to PayPal. And they say, well, it's in our rights. We can do what we want. It's crazy. And a lot of people are focusing on Visa and MasterCard right now, but do not, I tell you, do not forget about PayPal as well.
Oh, Moose. Oh, Moose, you should definitely, if you can, Moose, try and find an alternative method. Because, again, if PayPal simply decides that one of your purchases goes against their moral code, they could shut you down. If you don't have a bank account and all you have is PayPal, and that's all you've got, I implore you, try to find an alternative method. Try. Because PayPal is actually worse than Visa, MasterCard, and the banks. PayPal has a TOS that allows them to exercise so much more control over your account than Visa, MasterCard, or the bank can. So, yeah, look into another method if you can. Don't let PayPal be the only way that you can basically retain money. Like, look into something else. There's got to be numerous other... They're like, look into a credit union. Try and open a bank account or open up an account at a credit union or something. But don't let PayPal basically function as your bank.
Madam Savvy, who's been doing an amazing job. People
There we
like
go.
her and Chibi Reviews, and a lot of people, they've been doing really good jobs of spreading the message and really checking Visa, MasterCard, Collective Shout, all these related parties. But she made a nice thread here saying, small thread on Visa and MasterCard for contacting purposes. Be sure to comment on any Visa or MasterCard account or staff account as well. Also, Visa investor contact listed. At Visa and at MasterCard have vague rules and legal speak that should not be allowed. Both use, but not limited to explain their rules. And what she means is, in their guidelines, it says, in relation to or for the purchase or trade of photographs, video imagery, computer-generated images, cartoons, simulation, or any other media or activities, including, but not limited to.
Yes. And I've called this out before myself. That when you have ambiguous language in TOS, I've called this out primarily in relation to when we've talked about Twitch's TOS. How their verbiage is very ambiguous and nebulous, which means Twitch can choose to interpret it in any way they choose to that would benefit them. Same fucking rules apply here. This right here, including but not limited to, is Visa and MasterCard's way of saying, basically, we own your ass. And if we decide, because the wind is blowing from the southwest at 20 knots that day, that we don't like this particular thing that you bought, we can nuke your entire fucking credit card. It allows them to change their opinions based on which way the wind fucking blows, with no tangible thing that you can point to say, you didn't say that this wasn't allowed, because they have this language in their contract.
It's vague for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. They leave it very open-ended so they can go after whatever sort of content they want. It's super open. It's not just super open-ended. It's completely open-ended. They can do whatever they want. If they think it's in some way problematic or it's going to hurt their brand, they say right in the rules, they can do something about it. And it's even more clear down here.
Here we go.
Where it says illegal or brand damaging transactions. Number 2, the sale of a product or service including an image which is patently offensive and lacks serious artistic value, such as, by way of example and not limitation.
Okay. And I'm surprised only that was there. It's including an image which is patently offensive and lacks serious artistic value. So Visa and Mastercard, in addition to being highly nebulous about their TOS, are saying that they are going to be the arbiters of what is considered artistic value. A bunch of fucking billionaire pencil pushers that only care about enriching themselves and give not two fucks about anyone else are declaring themselves the arbiters of what is what has and does not have artistic value. That means they can literally say anything does not have artistic value because we say so, and thus we can nuke your account. We can refuse to do business with you because we do not consider it to be of a serious artistic value, because we are now the arbiters of what is or is not artistic. That needs to be shouted from the rooftops. This is what I've been saying. Visa and MasterCard want to control everyone's lives. They want to be able to say what they can and cannot buy. They want to be able to tell you how you should live your life. That is what they're doing. They are literally they're literally establishing a financial dictatorship over the populace of the planet.
They wouldn't know artistic value if it bit them in the rear.
GRC, they wouldn't know artistic value if it fucked them in the ass. With no lube.
Images of yada yada yada. Again, they use this not limited to language. It's open-ended for a reason. They're basically letting it so, well, if this, in our eyes, lacks some artistic value or is patently offensive, well, we hold the rights to pull our services.
Again, on the artistic value, I will remind everyone, when it comes to artistic value, a fucking banana duct taped to a wall is considered artistic by some people. Okay, you have Picasso. Words are hard. You have Picasso. You have Michelangelo. You have Rockwell. You have Bansky. What else his name? Bansky, I think is his name. The troll artist. And then you have a guy that stuck a fucking banana on a wall with duct tape. All of that is considered art. Bansky, yes, that's it, Kaibo. Bansky, yeah. Jackson Pollock. Like, all of this is considered art because, as the saying goes, beauty and art is in the eye of the beholder. But Visa is claiming that they're the ones to determine what is art and what is not.
They're liars. In their statement, they're trying to say, we don't have any sort of rules on this. They do. They do.
Yeah.
They have very open-ended rules that go way beyond the rule of law, by the way. In the United States, this is way beyond the law. They are trying to play God in this situation. They're determining what is okay and what's not okay. And they couldn't be any more disingenuous in their statement. They're completely lying to you, right to your face.
Yes, Klein, yes.
And you can see my reply to this where I said, resorting to blatant gaslighting now, huh? Yeah, they're nervous. Keep up the pressure. That is the point. Okay, just because.
Yeah. The only reason why they put out this statement is because they're scared. That's why they put out this statement. Because they're getting dogpiled. There's no end in sight. They fucked around with gamers, and now they're finding out. So, absolutely right. Keep the pressure going. And don't stop with the Visa and MasterCard companies. Put the pressure on your governments in the U.S. Put the pressure on your representatives and your senators to get that fucking bill through that completely neuters the payment processor companies. Put pressure on your government to get that kind of legislation through. Don't focus everything on Visa and MasterCard. We're gonna have to, divide attentions here, but keep the fucking pressure up.
They're starting to fold. They're seemingly nervous. That does not mean you take your foot off the gas pedal. This is the time to go harder because they're clearly nervous. They're putting out the statement that is gaslighting you. They are showing weakness right to your face, and they think you're so stupid, you're just going to accept it. Well, guess what? We're not falling for it. And this is the time where you go even harder. You contact them, and you make your calls, you send your emails, you make complaints, because they're aware of this, and they're nervous about it. And I will say this again. If you're going to contact them, I really think this is important. Be respectful. Be stern, but be respectful. Have a game plan. Have something prepared that you're going to say. Have legitimate complaints. Don't go in and cuss them out. Don't do anything like that. The people who are picking up, I don't care how rude they are to you, you go the high road. And if you want, document what's happening. Because we're hearing stories, but it would be even better if we had documentation of how.
Like record your phone calls. Record your calls. And let them know you're recording it. When, if you're calling from a cell phone, you have the capability of recording your calls. So when you call these payment processors, hit that record button on your phone. And tell the customer service people when they pick up, hi, just to let you know I am recording this conversation. It's completely within your rights to do so. And then make your case, again, politely, calmly, but firmly. And remember, I said this before in the other video, remember, the people you're talking to at customer service were not the ones to make these decisions on behalf of Visa and MasterCard. The customer service people have absolutely fucking zero say in the way the companies operate. Just remember that. And they're going to be, and they are many of them probably are going to get angry because they are living through hell right now, shielding all of these calls. Just remember that. No matter how polite you are going to get people that will be screaming at you, swearing at you, calling you all sorts of names. They are going through hell right now, and it's a hell not of their own making. They did not ask Visa and MasterCard to do this. They did not make the decision for Visa and MasterCard to do this. They are basically getting caught in the crossfire. Just remember that. There are some that are going to get really irate at you. And it's going to be very tempting to clap back at them, but just remember, keep this in your mind when this happens. They didn't want this to happen. They are just there to try and do their jobs and to facilitate customer service. They didn't want this to happen. They are as much a victim of Visa and MasterCard as everybody that was calling to complain about them. So if they need to yell and if they're going to yell and scream at you, just be aware that it's that emotional release, that things have been building up because they've been fielding so many fucking calls. The pressure's built up for them, and it's just an uncontrolled release. And it is not and it's realistically, it's not personal against you. They are in hell right now. But yeah, when you call them up, record your calls, let them know Just so you know, I'm recording this call because it is within your legal right to do so, especially if you are informing them. And continue to be polite, respectful, but firm.
All these people are treating concerned customers and people calling in and contacting them with concerns with these recent policy changes and what they're doing and their role in banning thousands of video games. Be respectful, have a plan, and also document what's happening. That is kind of the main thing if you're going to contact Visa or Mastercard, and I encourage anyone who wants to follow that sort of guideline to do so. I think.
And this just popped in my head as an idea, that if you want to call Visa Mastercard, you know what you can do as an opener when you contact Visa and Mastercard? This, I think, is probably the best way to open it before anyone jumps into their spiel about their displeasure with Visa and Mastercard, with these customer service reps. This might be a very good opener. Is after you say hello, and if you're recording, say, just to let you know you're recording with this. Begin with this. I want to first start off and say, I know this was not your decision. I realize you and your colleagues are under a tremendous amount of pressure right now with what is happening. I don't fault you in any way. I sympathize what you as the customer service representative are going through. And I do feel for you. And just know that I am not upset at you. If you offer sympathy to the customer service representative that is picking up the phone, that may help in if they're ready to boil over, that may help to calm them down. If you offer sympathy to the customer service rep, not the company, but to the customer service rep, and you say, I know that you are under an incredible amount of pressure right now. You are getting hit from all sides. Just know that you have my sympathies for your situation. I know that you did not make the decisions that is resulting in all these calls. Just know that I do not think you are at fault in any way, shape, or form, but I do want to make this complaint to the company at large and not yourself. That would be my recommendation to basically still get your point across when you are issuing a complaint, still putting the pressure on the company at large, but offering a bit of kindness to the customer service rep that has been caught in the crossfire and caught in the middle of all of this. That would be my suggestion.
It makes a difference. I think it makes a big difference. This is how we got to this point. Contacting Visa and Mastercard and going through this process is how these games got banned. We should use the same process to make some accountability here and try to basically turn this whole thing around. And speaking of turning things around, itch.io.
Oh, here we go. We talked about this.
Indie game marketplace.
We talked about
that
this.
has been targeted by Collective Shout, and they basically folded on their own volition. They heard the threats from Collective Shout, and they said, okay, we're going to start banning some stuff. But now they're having a little bit of a change of heart.
They didn't... Hold up. I want to hear that again. Hold up.
Targeted by Collective Shout, and they basically folded on their own volition.
That's not right. I'm sorry, that's not correct. Itch.io put out a statement when this happened and said they de-indexed these games to be in compliance with their payment processors. They actually made a statement about that when this happened. Let me hear it again. I want to make sure I heard Rev correctly.
Which is the indie game marketplace that has been targeted by Collective Shout, and they...
Well, no, Collective Shout did target that because they had adult games. Collective Shout did target that.
They basically folded on their own volition.
No. Collective Shout did target Collective Shout did target itch.io. Collective Shout was targeting all game dads that were offering or game distributors that were offering adult content. It wasn't just Steam, but they were targeting all distributors that were selling adult content. But itch did not fold out of its own volition. They actually made the statement when they delisted all of those games that they did so because they were forced to by the payment processors. They actually put out a statement when it happened that we had to do this to be in compliance with our payment processors. They in no way folded by their own volition. So unless Rev is going to say something more after this, he's incorrect about that.
They heard the threats from Collective Shout, and they said, okay, we're going to start banning some stuff. But now they're having a little bit of a change of hearts. They have made a statement saying re-indexing adult not safe for work content. And they say that they're going to do a different way of doing things that will cut out the concerns of Collective Shout. They'll cut out some of these payment processors, and they're going to try to find different solutions to all of this, which is a good first.
Okay, hold up. We need to specify this. Rev is not specified. They're re-indexing their free adult NSFW content. They're bringing back the free content, and there's going to be ongoing discussions with the payment processors, and they will slowly be reintroducing the paid content. That specificity is necessary. All of their free adult NSFW content is back, and they're going to be slowly reintroducing their paid content.
Step, okay? That is something we should be congratulating this company for, itch.io. At least they're trying to correct their instant folding to groups like Collective Shout. And if
damn it, Rev, I love watching your stuff, but you're wrong. You're wrong on this, Rev. Itch.io did not fold to Collective Shout. They were forced to bow to the payment processors who put their boot down on them and said, if you don't do this, we're going to remove your capability of processing payments. They made a public statement stating this.
If everything feels like we're in an episode of Shimonetta at this point, it really does
yeah,
feel like it.
You guys have mentioned this too, and yes, I've seen Shimonetta.
Based on the year 2030. We're only 5 years away, and it's starting to really feel like it. You know, people are clowning on this like comparison, but like no, this.
Well, chat, we know what has to happen. Time for me to go put some panties on my head. Time to go wear panties on my head. By the way, side tangent, fun fact, the voice actress who did the English dub for this character, I forget the character's name, but the voice actor who did this character, who voiced this character in the English dub, same voice actor who did the voice acting for Rias in High School DxD. Same voice actor. Just a little side note on that.
Anime is about a time of 2030 where basically the government has gotten so
really,
overly infatuated with censorship that basically nothing can exist without being censored and toned down in some sort of a way. And the people fighting back, the quote-unquote terrorists in this anime, are people who are just free speech advocates, right? That's how it feels.
Oh, and Golden Claymore, thank you for the follow. A little bit, Garrett. She's done other voices. You know, she's done other roles, but it's just she has a very recognizable voice when she does her voice acting. She has a very recognizable, sultry, loving voice, and so it's just very recognizable.
In this anime are people who are just free speech advocates, right? That's how it feels right now, especially across the world. We're seeing all these restrictions and bans going on. It's a concerning time, but don't worry. The usual bootlickers like this person are saying, quoting Chibi, who pointed out this comparison, saying,
here we go.
"This is hilarious. The lolicons who love to tell people they don't know the difference between fiction and reality when they sexualize lollies believe that Shimonetta is becoming real life. This is the most delusional thing I've ever seen. Anti-censorship goofballs are crazy." Well,
Shimonetta was literally all about you cannot access anything lewd, period. That is literally the entire plot behind Shimonetta. Is that anything sexy has been outlawed. And because of that, you have characters like her, the president, who, because there is no lewd, and she is like pure as the driven snow, the instant she gets a tiny fucking hint of lewd, she gets the tiniest little exposure to lewd, and she turns into an absolute sex freak. Because porn and even the most mildest of versions of it have been outlawed, the moment she gets exposed to it, she turns into a literal fucking psychotic sex freak. Yes. That is what Shimonetta is about. It is literally about anti-censorship. That is the whole fucking message behind it.
the thing is, a lot of it started with censoring lolly type stuff. And
yes,
people
said,
that's good, actually.
Cookies.
Because I think that stuff's weird. And censorship of that's fine. And guess what? It's a slippery slope. It goes to other things that people now do care about. And just because you don't like something in fiction doesn't mean it should be censored. That's a mistake many people have made. But this wackadoo is saying that people like Chibi are delusional because they're able to see the message from Shimonetta and apply it to real life while also understanding that drawings are not real.
Simple answer. This person is pro-censorship. That's the simple answer. Actually, no. It's actually a little bit more complicated. It's pro-censorship, and I will guarantee you, someone needs to check this man's hard drive. Someone needs to check Underdog BT's hard drive. Because people that project like this, they hide in something. Guaranteed, there's something on this guy's hard drive he don't want anybody to see. And so that's why he's projecting so hard at Chibi, saying, talking about lolicons and basically calling them delusional. Dude, what's on your fucking hard drive? Huh? What's on your hard drive right now that you're so scared of people to see that you got to project this hard?
They're saying that's delusional. Brother, you just admitted you're delusional. Like, this is the level of craziness we're dealing with. But anyways, long video. Sorry to ramble on so much, but I care about this stuff. I know you guys care about this stuff. It's a big mess right now. And yeah, hopefully we can fight back against this, because this is a very dark road we're heading down. A very censor-happy road that
yes, we are
should support. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Good video. Yeah, it's working, chat. It is working. Keep the pressure up. People need to keep the pressure up, because this is working.